Undertale is one of the best indie games ever made and an absolute gold standard for all indie developers to look up to. This game is unique, hilarious, emotional, epic, unpredictable, and engaging till the very end. But with this childhood game being so impactful and wrapping up so perfectly in the end, one was forced to wonder how it could ever get a sequel. And I too wondered how it could get a sequel that could live up to its original title. But my curiosity was never answered because I never played Deltarune, because I forgot it was a thing after there had been no news for Chapter 3 for about 4 years. I have never seen anything for this game other than the Sans interaction from the first chapter. However, with the most recent game trailers being released and Deltarune being a part of the list of major releases, this game piqued my interest the most. So, I decided to finally play Deltarune in 2025 to catch up before Chapter 3 and 4 are released. And here are my thoughts on the game after finishing Chapter 1. I started off by choosing a character that is very unique, with many unique options. Then made a very funny name, but I fixed it by making a totally serious name that was one letter short. It was so close to achieving perfection, but now all I have to settle with is cool. I then have my hard work of 2 seconds deleted by the game because it says I have no choices and I am not allowed to think for myself. I then have my name revised to something much less funny. I wake up with Goat Mom and we head to school. The music here was very cute and aww. Ugh. Elvis. The emo girl walks in and makes everyone uncomfortable with her clothing choices, including the teacher, who tries to make the situation a little less awkward as she stares us all down in the doorway. We then catch emo girl eating chalk and... Oh. Okay, I guess she's not emo, she's just a psychopath. We then fall down a closet together and I turn into a Smurf for some reason. We get chased by a bunch of poker spades and fall down even deeper into the closet. I find Susie and she is absolutely mad maxed out. We then find a yard where a stranger starts yapping about how we're heroes and need to save the world, and then he blows up. We then meet Lancer, who is a super goofy bad guy, who is also very new to being a bad guy. After defeating Lancer, he bikes away on his training wheels, and then Susie pieces out as well. The hooded figure took off their hood and revealed their name was Ralse. Now that the major characters of this chapter are introduced, I'll just list my first impressions and thoughts of everyone. Susie is the average angry / edgy character of the group and doesn't have too much depth to her right now, other than being a loose cannon who just doesn't want to be there. My prediction is that she is going to be my favorite character by the end of the chapter. Ralse is a simple character that just wants to bring peace to the world and restore balance and order to his kingdom before the prophecy of the end of the world comes to pass. I don't know if I'm going to like him very much. I will have to wait and see till the end. Lancer is a goofy and chill guy who just wants to be a bad guy and do bad guy stuff. He's not good at being a bad guy, and my prediction is that he will be a friend by the end of the chapter, and if Susie doesn't become my favorite, he will be. Next, we go to find Susie to talk to her, and Ralse introduces us to the combat of this game. This is a turn-based combat system with the Undertale heart dodge twist on it. You have armor and items you can use to give you boosts or restore health, but if you want to go the pacifist route, you are still able to do that until certain major fights. My opinions on the combat system are very positive. I absolutely love the combat for this game, and the axe system is just how I remember it in the first game. The twist where you can order your allies to make certain actions is also very cool, and each fight feels unique and different in its own special way. Unless you're fighting a recycled enemy, every type of battle will be unique and fun, and you get to test out your creative solutions for each one. Sometimes the fight will also vary depending on the scenario with your allies. For example, Susie will just simply attack and not listen to you for most of the game until much later on. Allies will sometimes strike conversation mid-battle, and it always keeps you engaged with what's happening. Overall, the combat system is great. Find Susie and convince her to tag along and that she doesn't have to necessarily listen to what we say, but at least we got her on our side. We continue through the puzzles and average enemies when we encounter Lancer again. He tries to play bad guy still, but Susie just tries to kill him on sight. Then he sort of accidentally compliments her in a weird twisted way, and she calms down as he walks away to continue making his evil plans. Also, the mazes and puzzles in this game, while simple, are fun to figure out and are good moments for some comedy and goofy creature interactions with Chris and the group. We go through some more mazes and short fights when we make it to the end where Lancer is once again waiting for us, and this time his evil plan has come to pass where he sends a circle after us. We're gonna fight a circle for his master plan, until it gets a Mario shroom and bulks up into a kaiju. The group decides to bow and get it to lose its crown and fall off its head, and the plan works, but then Rousey decides to grill Susie for being a jerk to every NPC we meet.
Yo mama gay.
It's here that Susie decides that being a good guy isn't for her, and she wants to be evil with Lancer. They both leave to make another evil scheme and scurry off to make more sinister plans without us. We chase after them, and it turns out both Lancer and Susie are terrible villains because they are literally just chilling, getting donuts, and hanging at the beach and tanning while we're going through all these levels. Susie then finds out that Lancer is unsupervised and gets worried about him. See? I told you she'd get some character development later on. We are then approached by Lancer for advice on the evilest machine we can think of, and it turns out we can design our own boss fight. I chose to go with the sword, tank, and shoes for my design. Later on, they bring it out and blow it up. Okay, I guess we're just throwing hands. After a minor battle, we get them to stop fighting with the power of friendship, and we get a pretty sweet scene with the group convincing Susie and Lancer that they don't have to be the bad guys. I kind of saw this coming, so it wasn't too much of a shock to me, but I enjoyed the characters having this moment where they all reunite and add Lancer to the party. Lancer travels at a distance because he's still nervous about having friends, and I really like that he is hesitant to join us, and it adds a bit of character to him as well. We arrive at the castle, and Lancer leaves? Boy, you just joined me. Get your ace of spades looking forehead back here. We're then thrown into prison for commenting on the king's son's forehead and are forced to eat moss after 2 seconds. Susie manages to escape and come across Lancer. The scene solidified Lancer and Susie as my favorite characters in this story. The emotion of Susie feeling betrayed by her only friend was very sad, and her reaction was justified, even though she doesn't understand that Lancer is clearly trying to help us by keeping us down here. She tries to kill him, and even though she's mad, she comes to understand he's just trying to make sure nobody gets hurt and decides to spare him. She decides to talk her way out of things for the first time and says she will try to reason with his father after freeing Chris and Rousey. They make up, and he goes on ahead to try and convince his dad to take a chill pill, and they become friends again. It's a very sweet scene for both of them, and this moment made me really like both Susie and Lancer much more, and it reminds me a lot of the Toriel fight from Undertale. Susie then frees Rousey and Chris, and they head up the elevator to confront the king. It's here that Susie officially apologizes for how she's treated others and says from here on out it will be different, and she will figure out peaceful resolutions with you in the group. With this, she officially joins the party for good now. After this, we make our way through the castle to the most complex British puzzles ever and make it to the roof where the king is talking to his son. After coming in at the perfect time, the king grabs his son and forces us to bow to him. But Lancer comes in clutch with the arrow to the back, and thus begins the final battle. Susie and Rousey get a power boost here, and I have played Undertale before, so I assumed that it was the same mechanics as Asgore once I tried reasoning with him twice and got the same reaction. After about 10 minutes of sweating my face off while trying to dodge his attacks and some really close calls, we beat him with Susie's Getsuga Tensho and exhaust him to the point where he can no longer fight. It's here that Rousey has mercy on him and heals the king, in which he responds by just smacking us and nearly ending our lives for no reason. After repeating a very familiar line from the beginning of the game, Susie puts the old man to sleep, and Lancer comes back in to see the results of our battle. We're told that all the guards in the castle are coming, and Rousey says it's time for both of us to go. But right before we went to the fountain, there was one more surprise waiting for us. He takes off his hood and reveals he is also a goat. Huh. Who else was a goat in the first game, and why is this game revealing this like it's so crazy important? Oh my god, that's Azrael! I only learned that was Azrael after I was finished with the chapter, and my friend told me who he actually was, and it made me love Rousey so much more. With that, we head to the fountain, traveled back up the main world to find it to be evening, and everyone is gone. Susie says she wants to go back again tomorrow and heads home. I head outside and decided to log off for a bit and come back because I didn't realize I was at the end of the game. But I didn't know that I forgot to save, so I have to do the boss fight all over again. I speed ran the fight and made it back to where I left off and decided to explore the town a bit more to see if I could spot any familiar faces. Found Undyne and Sans, and I enjoyed their interactions the most. I kind of ignored everyone else's who I didn't recognize. Then I made it to the bottom of the map where I found something weird. I already know this place is most likely going to be important in the later chapters because this felt too eerie to just be a regular bunker. I went back to my house and said hi to Toriel. She is still as precious as she was in the last game. Found the mirror and remembered the last game's mirror, and I started to cry as I head to my room for bed. I went to interact and... oh, this is the end already? It felt so fast. Okay, I guess I'm done. Wait. Oh, post-credit scene. Okay, Chris is just hitting the gritty under the bed. Okay. Oh, well, why is she walking like that? What are you doing with that hand, Chris? Oh my god! Wow. Why are you looking at me like that? Okay, that was brutal for no reason. The first chapter of this game blew me away. I loved almost every minute of it, and it sucked me right back into the original game I knew and loved years ago. I'm so mad I didn't play this sooner, but also glad that I started now, because now I don't have to wait for the next chapters to come out for 3 to 4 years. Lancer and Susie are my favorites. The combat was amazing and well thought out. I'm really interested to see where this story goes and how it will progress in the future, and I'm excited to play chapter 2. I'll post chapter 2 as soon as I finish it, and with how much I love this chapter, that might not be too long from now. This game still holds up in 2025, and I'm hyped for whatever comes next.